Hey guys, stoked to be finally out on the water. Today I am out paddling for the second time on the Beaver River. It is a beautiful evening. And today we're going to talk about kind of some of the essential gear and then tips and tricks on safety for paddling by yourself. Let's do this. So I spend a lot of time on the water. Now, what this means is I don't always have somebody to come with me. So today I kind of wanted to go over some of the safety and gear that I like to kind of have either on me or in my boat, as well as some of the safety practices that myself and my family follow for when we go out on our paddling adventures. When it comes to paddling alone, safety is a big key. You don't have anybody with you in case something goes wrong. So biggest thing I can recommend is always be over prepared, and that is definitely something that we will go over with the gear. Always plan your route. So know where you're going, know where you're launching, what time you want to return, and along with that, we should always let somebody know where we are. Now that is even when we paddle as a group, always letting someone know at shore, back home, that this is when we got on, this is when we got off. That's super important. So I like to try and stick to messaging somebody that can actually come out and help me if they absolutely needed to. So if they know the area, they have a kayak or whatever. I like to always tell them where I am, where I launched. So for today, I'm on Beaver River. I launched from Lassard Road at 6 o'clock. And I'll give them a general time of when I'm thinking that I'm going to be back at shore. That way that if I'm out of service, they have a general idea of when they should be expecting a text or call from myself. Always make sure you have a fully charged cell phone. You don't know what can happen. I'm a strong paddler, and typically if you're paddling by yourself, you know what you're doing. However, that doesn't change the fact that you could run into some weather, something very unexpected could happen. You really never know. Now, because I paddle in a lot of areas where service is in and out, these phones are working very hard. The batteries drain fast just because they're constantly trying to find service. Having a fully charged phone kind of minimizes any risk I have from being able to contact anybody if I do have service. And to go with your phone, if you have the ability to have a GPS tracking you, I simply use mine all the time just to track my route, but it's never a bad idea to have the ability for you to send out your GPS signal. Now, if you have service, your phone will automatically be doing that, but if you do have beacons and that kind of stuff that you like to paddle with and you're spending a lot more time in remote areas, that's never a bad idea. I do paddle with my phone and an Apple Watch. I just triple tap the button and it will send out an SOS signal if I need it. So if I end up in the water or I end up trapped overnight and I need help, really going to extremes, but again, always be over prepared. That's never a bad way to go. First things first is you want to have your PFD. Can only do you so much good if you're wearing it. So always make sure your PFD is in good condition. Number two is a whistle. Is a marine whistle, works when it's wet and is attached to your PFD and in easy accessible use. I have a bilge pump for if I have to pump water out of my boat if I were to tip. Throw bag, of course I have water. I do like to also bring a water filtration system with me so that I always have an endless supply of it. Spray skirts, the biggest reason I recommend spray skirts, especially in the early and late seasons, is mainly just to keep your legs dry, but they're also fantastic at trapping heat, keeping your lower body much warmer. In the long run, it makes your paddle a lot more enjoyable. Always be over prepared. It doesn't matter how good of a paddler you are or how nice it is outside. Things can happen, things can change. Now, if you haven't already watched lots of the What's in My Dry Bag series, there are 7 episodes where myself and 7 other paddlers and instructors from around the province went through kind of the stuff that they like to carry with them, and it was a fantastic series, and it was excellent to kind of see what kind of gear they carry in their bags at all times. So it is early in the season. We're gonna kind of go over the gear that I threw in my bag today and packed on, as well as the clothes I wore as I am out paddling by myself this evening. dress for the weather, but more importantly, especially in the early and late seasons, is dress for the water. It was reading 16, 17 degrees when I got on the water, and it was perfectly sunny, but the water itself is still 1-2 degrees. So that puts a high risk on hypothermia, and hypothermia really is no joke. So what that means is I'm wearing a full wetsuit today, but dry suits are highly recommended. I don't have a dry suit, so I typically just wear my wetsuit. Always dress for the water. Even though it might seem so nice outside, the water is not warm. Neoprene gloves. These are NRS neoprene gloves. I typically don't paddle with them on. When the sun does go down and it's down to 1-2 degrees, I do wear them, but they're more or less for if I need to warm up my hands at shore or when I get back. And then dress for the weather, of course. If it's raining, pack a raincoat, but no matter what, we live in Alberta, so I kind of pack for absolutely everything. So, especially because, like, yes, it was super warm when I got going, it was 17 degrees, but now that the sun is just starting to set, the temperature has already dropped by about 6-7 degrees, and it'll drop right down to 0 as soon as that sun's gone. And when I get back to shore, it's gonna be dark. Just rule of thumb, always just be prepared for everything and know the time of year and know what kind of clothes you should be wearing. So first things first is I have 2 hoodies in here. So this is just a cotton hoodie. I do not wear this one while I'm paddling, as cotton will become very heavy, and if it gets wet, it will never warm you back up. It can be very dangerous. But I always have a dry one with me staying the night or when I'm done paddling. Then the second one I have is the neoprene hoodie. So one that I will actually paddle with. This is an NRS hydro hoodie. It is designed so that if you do get wet, you will warm back up. So those are the 2 hoodies I have with me. A pair of socks, towel. I usually have 1 to 2 of these with me depending on where I'm going and how long I'm going. Then of course I have my fire starting kit, my first aid kit, a survival blanket. This can also be used as a tarp or if I have to make a tent. And then a waterproof flashlight for if I had to signal for help or I was out here later than I expected. Safety is cool. Don't let anybody ever tell you different. Being over-prepared and ready for every situation, as annoying as it can be, when those moments occur, everyone will be looking to you. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I cannot wait to see you guys on the water. And yeah, cheers.